Had to start back over anyway. Satan, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Kakadash, Barakatah Barakatah double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops, great millstone, much salutation to the brothers teaching word for the hopeful election to be elect, most high will. Men, women, children, returning back to the most high with contrite spirit blessings. A fairly quick video. This is Darlene. She's on the Corey Holcomb show. A regular, and the title of this is just a clip. This is 2 years ago, so it's fairly old, but I'm still try to make a point to it. Darlene Ortiz racist compilation. And I, like I said, I ran into her a couple of times. I talked to her first online she's kind of open to that a little bit, but it's kind of crazy because like 3 weeks later, I ran into her at Norm's. I was with the brothers Akar and brother Yuanathan in California, and then I saw another time like 2 weeks later at Ross. So I was like, and we didn't even, it wasn't even no like meetup kind of thing. It's just I ran into her coincidentally right after I talked to her. Well, it wasn't none's a coincidence, but I gave her a hug, and she was out promoting her new book, eating, and then promoting her new book. She had a so-called white woman with her, helping her promote her book. A lot of people, you don't. Of course, I don't think she's racist like that, but as far as talking about her culture when it comes to racial differences, especially in debates or heated arguments, she'll bring it out, and that's what a lot of people do in the social realm of reality when it comes to these kind of arguments or whatever debates. But here she's she's saying, and Issachar is the so-called Mexicans from the tribe of Israel, and that's according to the Spirit. That's one of my scriptures I'm going to pull. But as much as they get that Judah and Issachar confrontation, what have you, that friction, that don't mean that they're not our brothers. Judah got a problem with Judah. I mean, Negroes got a problem with Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Black, they call it black on black crime. And so here she's saying that they're talking about hair product, I think, and she's talking about how Mexicans don't need that, what black people need as far as that hair product, and I think she's mentioned it a few more times in different arguments and conversations to just draw a line between those two races, so to speak. But if you talking hood, I mean, she got goons and she's hood oriented or whatever. But even in the rap game, Mexicans are down with black people. You know what I'm saying? Some kind of form. Even going back to the cholos and the brown berets and things of that nature. But this is a woman, of course, so it's even more. Things are even more watered down when they get to talking, man. That's why they shouldn't be making any points or statements because they don't do real research. And before I talk too much,
she's just saying, but he's still not like the sheriff. And even if he had,
let me turn that up a little bit.
Feel like a white person.
And when he has his change, because he hasn't had the change, supposedly he hasn't even had that, procedure done at the bottom. So I don't know. They're giving Hunger a hard time. She's not disrespecting the whole thing. She's just saying that she feels.
Yes, she is.
You think so? Why?
Yes,
Why?
Because you can't to say that you feel black. How in the fuck do you know what black feels like?
I know. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Let me let your hair grow. I didn't know nothing about when you oil your hair, it helps it grow.
Well, not to me. My culture thinks differently.
So he said when you oil your hair makes it grow. My culture, she said, thinks differently, but your culture, if she's talking about Mexican culture, which she is, because she's Mexican, she claims herself to be Mexican. I believe she is. I mean, the seed, of course, is of the father, and I believe she got a Mexican father, so-called Mexican father. But being Mexican ain't got nothing to do with the hair texture, man. You know, and let me pull this video up. This dude's name is Drex the Joint on being full Mexican despite looking black, and he has coarse hair and dark skin. And a lot of these so-called Mexicans, that their concept of identity and self-pride or Mexican pride is based on their skin color, and that's not factual, man. Because there's a lot of black Mexicans over there in Mexico.
Did you guys was it like rough? Like who gave you the most shit? Who gave you the most shit? The black people or the Hispanic people? You feel me? Because I know it's 50-50.
Nah, Hispanic people. Because where I'm from, it's like predominantly just Hispanic. So like, but like not really when I was a kid. But like now, fool is like,
yeah,
it's like different. For like they see me like fool. Yeah, they see me and they like looking at me like I'm about to rob some shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, like it's more like my own people because that's really literally the only people that's there, Because there's not really like black folks over there and shit like that. And like, hey,
Yeah, because and black is not even a culture, man. That's not even a race. That's a fucking color, man. In which they do, they use that as a term of in a derogatory way, of course, and it's a stigma, it's a label. But if you go over there to Cuba and Dominican Republic and all in Puerto Rico, you're gonna see some dark skinned Puerto Ricans, dark skinned, even in Mexico, dark skinned, what have you, El Salvador and all those places. So when you say black, when they say this black stuff, they're talking about neighborhood, enclosed, congested type of neighborhoods that kind of show a pride of and a representation of being black, because that's the identity of power to them. That's the identity of power to them. So they'll use that just as well as a lot of so-called Mexicans in America. The self identity and pride comes from, okay, well, you have black, we'll take brown. You have black, we'll take, we're high brown, light brown. You got a group called Lighter Shade of Brown. But you have also like that song, if you go back into the 90s with NDRE, she had a song called Brown Skin, up against my brown skin. D'Angelo had a song called Brown Sugar. So black people, they represent brown, being brown skinned people too, which is more, that should be more acceptable than black. He's not the color of his his hoodie or his hat. Right? All these so-called black people in this room on this is they wearing black, but they're not the color of that. And then you got some so-called black people say, well, it is what it is now. We done made it a culture. Nah. You got to unravel that shit and tell the truth about, nah, that's not the culture. That's not who we are. Which, we're Israelites, but, hey, some people so deep into the black thing that they're not gonna accept that they're Israelites. Anyway, let's see what he says more.
But see,
that'll clog your scalp to me and mine.
But see, that's the
That'll
effect.
clog your scalp? Maybe.
See, you can't talk for the whole Mexican race and shit. And when you got people that look like this and with coarse hair like this, let me look up black Mexican. I already put it in. Got Mexico's blackest city. See, it always have to be a damn explanation or a problem or, you know. Here's a good one. But I didn't put in black, but I put in Afro, which basically they try to say that's the same thing, and that's not the same thing really. Afro means you got a round afro,
I'm very
a
excited to be a part
hairstyle
of the Pro Color team.
that ain't got nothing to do with black. You can have a white woolly hair, a white woolly afro. Got nothing to do with having black hair. And like I said, it's a lot of Mexicans, if you will, that got coarse hair that use oils and stuff like that because they want to make it more, they want to make it look more straight. But of course, they might not say so. I mean, they might not tell the world about it that they use. You'll just think it's naturally straight. No, they put that oil and hairspray in there.
Afro-Mexicans tracing back
And hairspray too.
to the 16th century descend from West Africans brought during Mexico's slave trade.
So that's that American bullshit that they be coming out their mouth.
Only
Man.
in 2015 were recognized.
These people, like American people, are really unlearned, man. They're unlearned about history and a lot of
from
stuff.
records for 150 years since the 1830s. Mexico, historically, sheltered enslaved Africans from the USA. A famous world actor from the US, actress Lupita Nyong'o, identifies as Mexican-Kenyan by nationality, making her Afro-Mexican. Many Afro-Mexicans live in Oaxaca, facing challenges. Face scrutiny about their origins due to their darker skin. Vicente Guerrero.
Yeah, it's based on, and that's that bullshit that came over to America with that Willie Lynch, black against, black against white, or so-called, light skinned against dark skin. The lighter you are, the better. The lighter you are, the more closer you are to white. And these so-called white people are not even white. They're red. They're not the color of a piece of paper or color of this screen.
Mexico's first Afro-Mexican president, abolished slavery in 1829 despite opposition and exile. The African influence in Mexico is
And she got an afro. Now, Darlene would think she was a Negro and say, "Oh yeah, well, our culture, don't believe in that they have to use oils because we got naturally pretty hair. That's not. And just because you got an afro don't make you ugly, or dark skin that don't make you ugly. These people been warped out their fucking ass mind, man. That's that demonology, that witchcraft and shit, man. Now you got, hey, you got even celebrities, man. Some of them, as dark as they are, they got blonde hair. And it didn't naturally grow like that. No black person naturally grows blonde hair unless it's a issue, unless it's an error, a problem in the genes. You don't naturally grow blonde hair. That's not a natural thing.
acknowledged by organizations like Huela Negra, challenging Afro-Mexican stereotypes. Afro-Mexican.
So when she spoke about that, I'm pretty sure she was talking about the skin color. Darlene, I'm pretty sure she identifies a Mexican being light skinned and talking Spanish. Everybody that speaks Spanish don't mean they're so-called Mexican. They don't mean they're born in Mexico. Spaniards know how to speak Spanish, and they so-called white people. got, I think, let me, before they, but it's Denzel Curry, Black Flag Freestyle featuring that Mexican. Let me see. You know, and Jake bugged out too. All our people are bugged out, but it's probably saying, I'm pretty sure it's probably saying something that got to do with race and black. And even with Big Pun, he's a Puerto Rican, of course, but, you know, it's close to the Latin, more of the Latin. He had that term Boricua, and slips my mind. Damn it, I hate that. I hate when that happens, man. Some Mexicans don't like black. Some black Mexicans don't like blacks. Juneteenth in Mexico. I might check that out. Even though we don't celebrate that, man. The black side of Colombia. And some of the dark skinned women in these places, Colombia, got straight, like they got hair like or Darlene was talking about. So, are you Mexican by culture, or are you Mexican because you was born in Mexico? Because there's a lot of people that are not even. There's a lot of so-called white people born in Mexico. There's a lot of Japanese because they took over. They basically colonized Mexican. Or, partly colonized Mexico. That's why you got Hondas, the biggest selling cars, you know, in the so-called Mexican race. Not because, you know, well, for one, it's affordable, but it's shit. Jay could be riding them too, if that's the case. Which, you know, but not, you know, it's 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 that way. I believe. Well, I speak as a man on this because they're in Mexico, you know, and the Mexicans, they cross that border right into California and with those cars. Anyway.
Ambiente. Ambiente. Sí, sí. Por eso. No, aquí la apariencia es súper chévere. Yo soy de, no soy pues origen.
Now, if she came in talking, they'd be looking at her crazy, like, the hell, you know. But she's fucking. Excuse my French, my language, my lingo. But she's Colombia. What's that woman? What's that other woman's name? Zoe something. She played in a movie Colombia, Colombiana. You know. But you know, as a screen take of our people watching, they'll say she was a black woman.
No nací aquí en Quito, pero nací. Tú eres choqueña. Soy chocuana, sí, pero nací en el municipio del Medio Atrato. Pero estudio aquí, vivo aquí, y es todo súper chévere. Uno sale y uno siente el ambiente de su gente, la gente cómo se comunica. ¿Me entiendes? O sea, más que en todas ciudades hay personas que no, pues no se tratan de la misma forma, ¿cierto? Sí, sí, sí. Pero el ambiente es súper chévere, ustedes los fines de semana toman. Yo soy cristiana, ¿cierto? Sí. Pero usted ve que los jóvenes.
Now they wouldn't say why you acting Mexican or why you acting Latin or something because she speaks so well, you know. They'd be like, well, she's one of those different kind of Latins or something, or she grew up in, you know, Colombia or whatever. And she might have a hard time dealing with racism there. But you know, when our people concerning black people look at Mexicans or Puerto Ricans and say you acting black, you know, it's you know, it's usually the very opposite. You know, they know and they have known that it's been that way and it's in their cities and all that, and it's pretty much you know everywhere, or or whatever event they go to, wherever the public things they go to, they see that, they hear that, but it's just pretty much for identity reasons, you know, and that hatred could build up, or that you know not being cool or trying to steal our identity could build up, to where like, damn, we can't have anything. Why y'all trying to be like us? But really, we're the same people, man. You know. And if we get to the truth, identifying ourselves as Israel, it wouldn't so much be that type of confrontation. Says Matthew 7:16, you shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes or thorns or thistles, or figs or thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit. In paraphrasing, I think it says every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit should be hewn down. So fruit comes from the loins of the Father. So, you have, it talks about that in Deuteronomy too. The fruit that comes out of a woman's womb pretty much will be cursed, talking about our curses. So use fruit as seed, children, families, just like in Genesis, They got something called family tree. 1 Corinthians 2:10 says, but God had revealed them unto us by his Spirit, for the Spirit searches all things, yea, the deep things of God. Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. So yeah, that's how we know who our people are. Not because we want them, like, this is, even with the 12 tribe sign, before we were really known, or before we really had the inclination to be close, all together, like it says in scripture, that the two kingdoms were pressed together here in Babylon. We wasn't that, it wasn't, it was the Spirit that revealed that, because a lot of so-called black people, and even knowing that they Israelites, they still don't want Latinos, or don't think Latinos are a part of the tribe, because, and a lot of that might got to do with the conflict, like, man, they hate black people. There ain't no way they could be, but it's not your call. And that hate, it is not, you can't base that on personal experiences that you had. You run into a couple of Mexicans, they like, puto, whatever they be saying, and we don't fucking like blacks. That don't mean all what about these so-called, what about the Mexicans that are black over here, or the Colombians or Latins that are black over on the other side? Or, here, but they, they're not publicized. They don't, they're not represented. But there are some black Mexicans here, But what do all you see? If you look at these so-called Mexican magazines, well, the car magazines with, that where they show the El Caminos, the 6.4s and all that, Chevys and all that, and the bike gangs and all that, and it's all so-called light-skinned women mostly, with the long oily hair and stuff. But that's not reality, man. Let me see another point. So if you got a color issue, you might as well be a so-called white man. And it's not according to truth. This is not Mexico, but
Me olvidé para pagar. Ya yo pagué. Me fui, me olvidé para pagar. Sí.
I'm just showing this because they speak in Spanish and it's a part of that Latin identity. You got a group called Black Mexico. You got to, like I said, that symbolizes the same thing, Afro-Mexican.
We never knew that there was an entire coast of Mexico that was filled with us's, Negroes, black folk, African descendants. It was nothing but love from the moment we hit the border. Everyone was inclusive. It's like we were part of a long-lost family. We were invited
it's the lost tribes of Israel.
into people's homes. We were invited to the barbecue. We were taught the lingo.
De la verga.
You already know. We had a magnificent time. This is the part of travel that we always look forward.
And that's one thing. It says a man that's well traveled is wise. I'm paraphrasing. A lot of these people that think like this, that with this hatred and misunderstanding of Mexico, Latino, that got to do with core relations with blacks and identity and culture. They haven't traveled, man. They don't, they haven't studied, they haven't traveled. So they don't know shit, man. Invisible Roots, Afro-Mexican in Southern California. And they don't really make a statement because it's too much. Sometimes they're afraid, sometimes they're embarrassed, maybe. Sometimes they get overshadowed, overlooked, and targeted and all that.
Why or how it happened, I just have an idea. I'd rather consider myself Afro-Mexican just because Chicano people are going to be like, oh, you're from Mexico. Like, what?
Afro-mexicano.
Descendiente, yo diría.
Afro-mexicano.
Afro-Mexicano?
I feel like I don't belong anywhere. I feel like I can't, I don't have a place, And I feel like that's just the only thing that's
I think one of the saddest things that can happen to somebody is to not know what they are or where they're from. A lot of these folks, especially when they grow up in communities where being different is not okay or the dominant culture is not theirs, they don't have their self-esteem is low, So knowing who they are, I think helps them with their confidence and their self-esteem.
And the scriptures call us the hidden ones. We know about the scattering of Israel, scattered among all nations. Of course, we could look like all nations, but definitely, I think the very first, slave ships were in those areas like Hispaniola and Portugal and all those places, man. Before they came over here in this dump ass fucking America, like our people based their history and culture on this fucking ass America, which is nothing but oppression and captivity. And our people based their whole culture on that, and even like on the rights to vote. That's why your parents got us. Yeah, we couldn't vote before. Who cares? This place, we ain't supposed to be voting for anything in this damn place. How many so-called black or Mexican or whatever Latino presidents have there been here in America, man? And Obama, don't say him, because he's African. And even if he was a so-called Negro, that's one. And then it got back on the trail of so-called white people. That was a test run for Negroes, Afro-Mexicanos. And it don't have to be. We don't. It don't. For us to be the tribes of Israel, we don't have to look tribal. They. We don't have to go out and put on a damn mask and dance in the streets. Like when we go out to teach. We don't go out to make a statement for as fashion and so much culture. Of course we got garments on, but we trying to get our people to wake up. You know, the garments and the culture starts inwardly. But let it be a light skinned woman with kinky hair, and they be like they'll believe she's Mexican, and they just be like, well, she just got kinky hair. But you can't be a dark skinned, Mexican with kinky hair. They'll definitely, or at all, they'll definitely be like, no, you couldn't be Mexican, or you couldn't be Latino. Yo, yeah, man, travel, man, fucking travel, man. Hell, going around this circle of America and think you know what you're talking about, man.
Y además incluía dos mujeres afromexicanas para que participaran conmigo en esto. O sea, las chicas que cantan.
See, she's more believable to be a Latino, but she got kinky hair like black people. So is it the hair? Is it the skin color? What the fuck is it? They don't know. We know, but they don't know. They be like, well, why do you believe she's so much, quickly believe she's Latina, but she got kinky hair like black people.
No son venezolanos. Yo estuve 3 meses diciéndole, bueno, en Venezuela hacemos esto así, y cantamos allá, y venimos para acá, y comemos.
So that's why the Most High says that, man. He look on the inward man, because these docile people just take everything for carnality and the outwardly appearance and shit. And then at the end of the day, when they explain history accordingly, they don't know what the hell they talking about. Go search Afro Mexico, black Mexicans. They look like niggas, man, or Negroes. And they speak Spanish, fluent Spanish. Some of them don't even speak English. So what you think they hijack a culture and stuff, and they're not bilingual? If they were imitating, if there was a black person imitating a Mexican or Latino, he would know both languages. No, he grew up that way. He grew up speaking it. His mother speaks it. His father speaks it. Their grandparents speak it all the way back into slavery. And then if you go back far enough, it'll be more Latin speaking. Go back far enough, it'll be Greek. Go back far enough, hey, we all, not all, but we'll understand the captivities of us being those children of Israel and Babylon and Syria and so forth, from one captivity to the other. Even the Atlantic slave trade, even the diaspora, to where, so-called Native Americans end up in America before it was called America. And the Bible is called a place that hasn't been inhabited. So that's why they came and called it the New World before they named it America. So now that's why they planning a new world order here. Because it was a new world to them. And a place where they can slaughter the children of Israel and take over and set their own course and their own way of doing things. Just like the Renaissance, the rebirth. Same spirit. Rebuilding, taking over, slaughtering, taking over, rebuilding, and lay a blueprint down to be accomplished, which is the New World Order. But, our people, you can't be that closed fucking minded, man. Get a grip on life, man, and start examining the spirits of people. and a true culture of people beyond just what they fucking eat or what they look like or what they wear. Because there's a lot of our people, just like the people in the industry, that call themselves so-called black with fucking blonde hair and putting contacts on that's blue contacts on and shit. That's not cultural. That's not natural, and it's not cultural, man. But the people, ain't nobody saying shit about them, man. Nobody calling them out saying, why are you trying to be like the so-called white people? You know? Getting surgery, you know? Changing their features, changing their colors, changing their hair. So a lot of these people got a lot of learning and fucking growing up to do, man. And a lot of examining to do when it comes to culture and people and history and all that. Because they don't know what the fuck they talking about. Especially what Darlene Ortiz said. You know? Anyway, hope it's edifying. Shalom.